I signed up for a summer job as a camp counselor, thinking I'd earn some cash, roast a few marshmallows, maybe sneak off with a cute co-counselor after lights out. You know, the typical camp life. It was remote, nestled deep in a forest you couldn't even find on Google Maps. Just a speck on some folded tourist brochure that someone handed me during college job fair week. But the pay was decent, the food was free, and hell, I needed a break from reality. Biggest mistake of my life. The bus dropped us off right at the gravel lot, me and 5 other counselors. The trees were wrong somehow. Too tall, too thick, too dark, even at noon. Our phones lost signal 10 minutes before arrival. No reception. No Wi-Fi. Just wind in the branches and a constant, low buzzing, like insects but not quite. The camp director, Mr. Hemsley, greeted us with a grin that felt off. Too wide. His teeth looked fake, like dentures that didn't quite fit. He wore an old scout uniform, stiff with age, and a dusty cap with the logo faded away. "Welcome to Red Pines," he rasped, shaking each of our hands. "Obey the curfew, respect the woods, and never wander past the fire line after dark." We all exchanged confused glances, but nobody asked questions. Stupid. Later that night, he gave us a laminated sheet. Bold red letters. Camp Red Pines Council Rules. 1. Curfew is 9 p.m. Do not be outside your cabin after this time. 2. The campfire must never go out until sunrise. 3. Do not speak to any campers you do not recognize. 4. If you hear whistling from the woods, cover your ears and do not respond. 5. Never follow the lantern light into the forest. That is not one of us. I laughed. Thought it was a joke. It wasn't. The first full day was normal, swimming lessons, crafts, as mores. The kids were a little weird though. Quiet. Almost rehearsed. But that night, just after 10 p.m., I heard it. A sharp, melodic whistle drifting from the tree line outside my cabin window. 3 notes. Soft. Repeating. I peeked out, heart thudding. No one was there. Just trees and moonlight. Then I saw a lantern swaying deeper in the forest. A dim yellow glow bobbing between the pines. I thought it was Hemsley, maybe doing rounds. But something about the way it moved, too smooth. Too slow. Like it was floating. The whistling stopped. And then something else started breathing. Wet, shallow, right outside the wall. I didn't sleep that night. Hemsley gathered us after dinner. "We're going to test your dedication," he said. "One of you must keep the fire going till dawn. Alone." I volunteered. I figured, why not? Better than being stuck in a cabin with those creepy kids. He handed me a rusted lantern. "Keep this lit. It wards off the Scoutmaster." Everyone laughed like it was some dumb tradition. But when the sun set and the woods swallowed the light, I stopped laughing. I was alone, beside the campfire. The flames hissed and cracked, and shadows danced around me. Then, at 2:13 a.m., I saw him. From the dark came a man, no, a shape, wearing a rotted Scoutmaster uniform. His skin on like wet cloth over sharp bones. His smile stretched far too wide, teeth like yellow nails. And his eyes, oh God, his eyes were glowing red. Just like the image you sent me. He stepped from the tree line, holding a lantern. Just like mine. And he grinned. I froze. The lantern in my hand flickered. The fire cracked and spat embers as if reacting to him. The figure stood just beyond the firelight, his face slack but grinning, with deep creases like old, dry parchment stretched too thin. He raised his lantern slightly, a mimic of mine, and tilted his head. Then he whistled. 3 notes. The same ones I heard the night before. I backed up slowly, stumbling on a root. The light from my lantern wavered, then dimmed. Panic gripped me. "Stay lit," I muttered, shaking it. "Come on." He took a step forward. Still outside the fire circle, but closer now. Closer. His teeth glinted like shards of porcelain. His eyes. I can't describe it. They weren't looking at me. They were looking through me. Like he knew every secret I ever buried. I hurled a log onto the fire. The flame burst high, hot and white. He hissed and melted back into the dark, like smoke curling into the trees. Gone. I stayed up the rest of the night, white-knuckling that stupid lantern, waiting for the sun. Her name was Katie. One of the quiet kids. Blonde braids, pink shoes, always drawing weird symbols in the dirt. She never showed up for breakfast. We searched the camp. Her cabin. The trails. Nothing. The other kids didn't say a word. Not one of them. They just sat on the grass and stared into the woods. When we finally asked them about her, one boy, pale as bone, whispered. She followed the lantern. Hemsley made us stop the search by noon. Sometimes the woods take what they want, he said flatly. Get back to the schedule. I snapped. You're seriously gonna pretend a little girl didn't just vanish? He gave me that weird grin again. The one that didn't reach his eyes. Red Pines has rules, son. You'll live longer if you follow them. I didn't sleep again. Every night, the whistling came closer. Every night, I saw the lantern bobbing between trees. That night, I decided to break the rules. I needed answers. Around 3 a.m., I grabbed my flashlight and snuck out past the fire pit, careful to stay just inside the light's edge. Then I followed the trail behind the mess hall. The one marked, closed, staff only. It led me to an old scout cabin, buried in brush, the wood rotted and soft. Inside, dust coated everything. Broken bunk beds. Moldy maps. Faded merit badges nailed to the wall. And a journal. Stuffed beneath a loose floorboard. It belonged to someone named Eli Carter, dated 1963. Here's what I copied word for word. July 2nd, the Scoutmaster isn't right. He watches us when we sleep. He walks into the woods and doesn't leave footprints. Timmy saw him talking to the trees, whispering something. I think they whispered back. July 4th, kids are disappearing. First was Jimmy. Then Rebecca. Nobody talks about it. The other counselors are acting weird. Blank. Like puppets. July 6th, the fire must never go out. It keeps him away. If the fire dies, he comes into the cabins. Took Ryan last night. I heard him screaming until it stopped suddenly. July 7th, I tried to run. Something followed me. It had a lantern. It whistled. July 8th, I am not Eli anymore. I feel him in my bones. My smile won't go away. My skin itches. I see his eyes when I close mine. He's under my skin. I'm going to the fire tonight. One last time. The last page was soaked in something dark and crusted. I threw the journal across the room. Then I heard it. From behind the cabin. Whistling. 3 notes. Getting closer. I bolted from the cabin, flashlight shaking, heart pounding. The woods had changed. The trees were thicker, closer together. The air felt wet, like I was moving through breath. The lantern appeared again, ahead of me now. Ow! I had run the other way. It moved toward me. Too fast. Not floating, gliding. I screamed and turned. Branches whipped my face. Roots snagged my legs. I fell, slammed shoulder first into the dirt. When I looked up, he was standing over me. Closer than ever. His smile was cracked. His lips bled where they stretched too far. And his hand, it wasn't a hand. It was blackened wood, like a branch shaped into fingers. He reached for my face. Then, bang! A shotgun blast shattered the silence. The figure shrieked, high-pitched, like a dying animal, and vanished in a gust of ash and smoke. Behind him stood Hemsley, holding a rusted shotgun. His face, for once, wasn't smiling. "You left the fire," he said. Hemsley didn't say another word. He just turned and walked back toward camp, his shotgun slung casually over one shoulder. I followed him, limping. Every step, the forest seemed to watch. The trees leaned in. The shadows moved when I wasn't looking. Back at the fire pit, the logs were smoldering low. I threw 2 more on without thinking. Hemsley sat down on the bench, lit a cigarette, and stared into the flames. I finally asked, "What the hell was that thing?" He didn't answer right away. Just took a long drag and exhaled smoke through his nose like a dragon ready to die. Then he said, "The Scoutmaster. Real name was Elias Ward. Ran this place back in the 40s. Used to be a war hero, a man's man, taught the kids survival, discipline, all that jazz. People loved him. Until they found the pit." I swallowed. The pit? Behind the old storage shed. Bones. Lots of them. All kids. Missing scouts from over the years. Throats cut. Faces peeled. Teeth collected in little jars. My stomach turned. He confessed with a smile on his face. Said he was teaching them to respect the forest gods. That if he fed the trees, they'd give him power. Immortality. When they came to take him, he ran into the woods. Right into the heart of red pines. Never found a body. Just his lantern, still burning. A week later, one of the searchers hung himself from a tree. With his own entrails. I stared at him in disbelief. "This is real?" He nodded. "We've kept the fire burning every night since 1948. I should have left. Should have hiked out, taken my chances. But I couldn't leave. Not without answers. Not with those kids still here." That night, I followed the fire line and waited. Waited until I saw the lantern. Then I did what I never should have done. I followed it. It led me deeper than I'd ever gone before. Past trees that looked carved, like something had scraped runes into their bark. Past rocks arranged in spirals. The ground grew soft, then soggy, then wet. I stepped into a clearing, and the earth beneath me gave way. I fell through roots and mud into a chamber beneath the forest. A place not built by hands. It was circular, lit by glowing moss. The walls were made of roots, pulsing like veins. In the center stood a massive stone altar, and on it, Katie, the missing girl, unconscious, breathing, her wrists bound in vines, and standing over her, holding a knife carved from bone, the Scoutmaster. He looked younger now, less decayed, like the forest had fed him. He turned and smiled. His eyes glowed like embers. "You came," he whispered. "Another counselor, just like Eli. Good. You'll carry the flame." I screamed and charged him. He moved fast. Inhumanly fast. His hand caught my throat and lifted me into the air. "Burning the fire, feeding the trees, you've kept me strong," he hissed. "Now, become me." The roots began to move, slithering toward my legs like snakes. Then, crack. A shotgun blast echoed through the chamber. Hemsley again. Only this time, he had others with him. 4 old men in scout uniforms, all with torches. The roots screamed. Yes, screamed. Like they were alive. The Scoutmaster lunged, but the fire touched him. And he burned. They poured fuel across the chamber. Doused the altar, the roots, everything. "Get the girl and go," Hemsley ordered me. I carried Katie out as the entire underground altar lit up like a furnace. The trees above shook. The forest howled. And I swear, as we ran, I saw faces in the trunks. Screaming, ancient faces as the fire consumed their shrine. Katie woke up the next morning. No memory of what happened. The other kids still acted strange. like something deep in them wasn't quite right. Hemsley gave me one final talk before I left. You kept the fire lit. You passed. I asked him what that meant. He just smiled, a real one this time, and handed me a fresh sheet of rules. A new job title at the top. Head Counselor. Camp Red Pines Counselor Rules, revised. 1. Curfew is 9 p.m. Do not be outside your cabin after this time. 2. The campfire must never go out until sunrise. 3. Do not speak to any campers you do not recognize. 4. If you hear whistling from the woods, cover your ears and do not respond. 5. Never follow the lantern light into the forest. That is not one of us. 6. If the Scoutmaster returns, burn him again. It's been 3 weeks since I got home. I haven't slept much. Sometimes I hear whistling outside my apartment. 3 notes. Over and over. Last night, a lantern appeared on my fire escape. It's still glowing. And I just found pine needles on my pillow.